Prior to joining Beacon Therapeutic, she was integral in the education programs at Niles Township, Glenbrook High Schools, and Keshet Day School in Northbrook. Since coming to Beacon, she has made a lasting impact on our high school program. Before we hear from Joan and all about the great work being done at our high school, I'm going to post contact information about our organization. As you can see, there's our web address. It's www.beacon-therapeutic.org. It's our mission statement, empowering children and families by helping them find their way to a better future by providing accredited, educational, mental health, and social services. I'm also going to post some locations for you. This is our business office at 1912 West 103rd Street in Chicago. Our Longwood campus on 10650 South Longwood Drive. Our Calumet Park campus, which is our high school, in Calumet Park, Illinois. And on Western at 117th is our homeless outreach services. Now please join me in listening as Dr. Joan Gross talks about how Beacon continues its 42 years of making a powerful impact in the community. It's changing lives, empowering lives, and changing futures. Again, feel free to call us with any questions or comments. The number is 312-738-1060. So tell us a little bit about yourself. You're principal of our high school.
I am from the farm. I was raised in a family that highly valued service to others. My mother taught her children to take care of other people and to be cognizant of their needs. Right out of high school, I went to work in a state program for children with significant cognitive delays and some physical delays, and I've been working with children with special needs and special learning needs in one form or another ever since. After about 5 years as a teacher, I started thinking that I could have broader impact on improving children's lives and therefore their families' lives by working as an administrator. I went to National Louis University and got my master's degree and moved into administration, then went to Glenbrook and worked as an administrator there for 24 years. My vision is consistent with Beacon's vision. Our job is to try to help make these young men and women and their families' lives better.
Wonderful. What so far do you like most about your experience at Beacon?
When I left public education and I went to Keshet, I enjoyed my work at Keshet a lot, and I enjoyed my work in the public education sector a lot. But after 3.5 years at Keshet, I found myself in need of a different challenge. So with happiness, I started looking for something else. I put my resume out broadly, read an ad in the Tribune for Beacon, and the ad sort of sounded like I might have written it myself. It felt very familiar, so I emailed my resume and went to interview. I knew a little bit about Beacon because I had been to professional presentations by Beacon staff, and I had worked with David Zinn, one of the founders, in regards to services that he provided to students at Glenbrook. So I felt very at home. The psychoeducational model is a model I had deep training in, and equally wonderful for me was that I would be part of a team, and I really wanted at this step in my career to be part of a team. I am a junkie for challenges. I love a good challenge, and Beacon's High School was indeed a good challenge.
That it is, and we've been very lucky to have you with us. Please describe your program at the high school in Beacon and explain how it is funded.
Okay, we've based our program on the needs of our students. We have, as a team, reflected and analyzed the needs of our students and tried to respond to each. The first and most important need, in our view, is safety. A lot of our students come from areas in the city where they may not feel safe and may literally not be safe, so we have created a safe environment for them during the day. There are a lot of adults in our school, and we have a strategic plan in place to keep everybody safe, staff and students, so that when our students come in, they're not uncomfortable and therefore they can use their energy to learn. We provide a nutritional program. We provide a hot lunch and breakfast every day, and a great deal of other food as well. When we have parties and birthday parties and special events, we always include foods, and often where there are recognition services for students who've done well, it includes food. So safety, nutrition, next affection, Many of our students come from really fine families where a lot of affection is provided, but some of them come from different backgrounds where maybe affectional needs have not been met. And even those who come from good families have not had wonderful experiences in schools. So regardless of how much regard they have at school, out of school, in school, they need some messages to replenish their self-esteem. So the third thing we focus on is lots of affection. The fourth thing is academics, and I'll talk about that when we discuss the curriculum, but just say we take academics very seriously, and we want our students to leave our school having learned things. We have a co-curricular program, heavily athletic. We're very successful athletically. Major focus is on sportsmanship and spectatorship, so that we know how to go to an athletic event and participate as a good citizen. Next comes therapies. We have lots of therapies, social work being probably the most important among them, to teach our students how to relate successfully to others. All of our students want to be liked and want to be successful socially, but most of them really have some problems in that arena. So the therapists focus heavily on helping them learn better ways of relating so that they can reach the goals that they've set for themselves more successfully. We provide a vocational program. We'll talk about that later. We provide incentives in that we are created to give students something to work for, as opposed to giving consequences for having made a mistake.
Can you tell us something about how a student qualifies to be in your school?
The students are all placed by the public school system, and the one thing they all have in common is self-management problems, judgment and self-management and relationship problems. Otherwise, they might learn very differently and come from very different backgrounds. But in every case, the public school the student attends has met and decided that student's individual needs cannot be met in their public school, and they then come to us and ask us to serve the student.
Okay. And just for our viewers, let me remind you that this is a live call-in show. We would welcome your calls. The number is 312-738-1060. I'm Alice Merrifield from Beacon Therapeutic, and this is Dr. Joan Gross, principal of Beacon High School. How does your program provide access to the regular curriculum?
Access to the regular curriculum is an interesting challenge in that it's now, as of 2004, part of the federal mandate for programs for students with special needs. And there's a lot of disagreement within the profession about what exactly it means. Wrongly, it's been represented as meaning that every student has to be in the regular classroom. That is not what it means. It means that every program must provide access to every student that student would be given were they in their regular school. So whatever the student would study in the 9th grade in a regular program, you need to look at that in a special education program and choose from that in terms of what content you're going to provide to your students to learn.
Have you developed a curriculum that
Yes.
provides this access?
We're very excited about our curriculum. Alice and I have partnered on that project for the last 4 years. Every school needs to have a curriculum, and we really had to improve in that area. So about 4 years ago, we started a process of trying to resolve that challenge. Initially, we tried to adapt regular curricula and just use the regular curricula. Well, our students couldn't learn in those curricula when they were in their home schools, and it didn't work in our school either. So we then tried to find them purchase. We did purchase a few, and those weren't right for our students either. We then looked at hiring a consultant, and that wasn't a solution for us either. So finally, with great trepidation, we said we'd write the curriculum on our own, worrying that we'd eat our words. But hallelujah, we're not eating our words. Our curriculum is finished. We only have a little bit to go before the whole thing is finished. We have written an entire high school curriculum so that our students are exposed to the same content that other students in their grade level are exposed to at their grade level, with careful attention to their interest and their learner needs.
And how have the students responded to the curriculum?
Well, our students really do come to school to learn. They want to be given work that's meaningful and challenging, and they want to feel that they're taken seriously as students. They really don't want to feel that they have been given work that's inconsequential or meaningless. So they responded very well. They work hard, and we give them a lot of work to do.
Okay. I'm going to put up a picture here. This is an example of one of our students who's working hard on his academics. But I believe we have a caller now. So, caller, would you like to ask your question?
Hi, I'm wondering, what is the criteria for how you decide to get a student back to a regular education setting, and what are some of the challenges they face when they're going back to a regular setting?
Do you want to field that one?
Sure. There are several challenges that are really pretty important. One is that you have to decide whether or not the student can handle socially being in two settings, therefore part of the day still in Beacon and part of the day in their home school or their local district school. It may be that you need to move the student back totally to begin with or not, depending on the student. All kinds of new guidelines and expectations have to be met in the regular school, as well as an academic pace that is going to be faster and more demanding, less individually tailored than those academic demands the students have experienced in our own school. It's probably as frequent that the academic learning demands become overwhelming as it is that the social demands become overwhelming. But both of them are issues that are very difficult for our students. In general, those are the reasons the students were removed from the homeschool. But we do have a support program in place. We recognize those challenges are going to be there, and we provide a lot of support for our students in meeting them.
Can you give us a little description of that kind of support? What does it involve exactly?
We have a transition person who paves the way by going into the receiving public school and partnering with the staff there that will work with the student so that we have a plan in place before the student arrives. Once the student returns to their home school, the transition person continues to work with them, as well as the therapist back in Beacon, because they can go to their therapist and talk about whatever it is they're finding frustrating back in their home school. And the transition person stays involved with the home school, working through whatever problems emerge, partnering with the principal. And even after the student is fully back in their home school, we continue to monitor and provide support for a period of time.
It seems like that Beacon helps transition students either in a couple of different ways. One is the transition back to a regular high school. The other one is to transition into adulthood post-graduation and become prepared to go to college or to have employment or junior college or trade school or whatever that student might be interested in. Can you tell us something about how Beacon prepares for the transition to post-high school?
Beacon starts planning for the transition from high school when the student comes in the door as a freshman. We have goals in their written individual plans when they're freshmen, and we review those and update those every single year for the years that they're in our program. We choose courses related to their goals, and we change the courses related to their changes in their goals. Each year we provide supports, instruction, and other accommodations to help them move towards their post-secondary goals. We have a vocational coordinator.
And let me put a picture up of the vocational program. Just 1 second. So tell us what's going on in that picture. Can you? I believe that's one of the students. That's one of the senior centers.
That is a student who's working in the food service program at the senior center. And that's part of our vocational program. That would be a student who might aspire to work in food service careers once he graduates from our program.
Okay. What other aspects do you have to your vocational program?
Well, before we do that, let's do a couple more sentences with transition, which is that when the students move into their junior and senior year, the vocational counselor picks up more of their transitioning work, places them in jobs in the community, helps them look at careers. There was a job fair today, and a good number of our students went to it. So they go to job fairs, they go to community colleges. They start actually putting a plan in place in their junior year. In their senior year, a plan is finalized. The social worker steps into a primary role of helping them transition, including providing mobility training, going to visit sites that might be relevant to their post-secondary plan. It's our goal for every student that when they leave us with a diploma, they are either employed or in college of some sort or both.
Okay. Can you describe the different types of job sites you offer students?
Our vocational program provides 4 levels of difficulty. The students can start within our building. You can work in maintenance, a little bit of landscaping and food service in our own building. Students thereby don't have to interact with anybody that's not part of our school. The next level up, they would work in, say, the senior center, where a job coach goes with them, but they have to interact with employees that are not part of Beacon. Their supervision stays with Beacon. The third level up, they're going to move into a site, say a Holiday Inn or an Express Inn.
And I believe we have a picture of that. Let me show.
That is a student working in an Express Inn. That particular business has been very good at helping us with our students. She is obviously a receptionist answering the phone. And the level after that would be in a job that's really very much like a job. I have a student right now who's working in the job that we got him into in his senior year, fully employed and helping his family. So there are 4 levels. The students move up through the levels. There's a instruction and counseling component that goes with the levels of instruction. And payment, every student who works for us gets paid. Beacon pays part of that, a lot of that. Some of it comes from the state, but Beacon pays a lot of that itself.
That's wonderful. And let me remind you, this is a call-in show, so please feel free to call in. The phone number is 312-738-1060. Before we continue with Dr. Joan Gross, I would like to just let people know a little bit more about some of Beacon's other programs. So I'm going to put up, this is a list of some of the other programs that Beacon offers. We have our little and big intensive outpatient programs. The intensive outpatient programs run services for children ages 3 to 18, either for 6 hours a day for the 3 to 6 year olds and after school for the older clients. We have an outpatient clinic that offers both therapy and psychiatric services. We have a family assertive community treatment program that provides services to women between the ages of 18 and 25 with a diagnosable mental health disorder who have at least one child under the age of 5 and are at risk of homelessness. We are beginning an early Head Start program that's a home visiting program for 0 to 3 year olds and their parents. We have our shelter outreach services, which provides mobile mental health services to homeless women and children or homeless families residing in shelters across the city. We have our CHIPRA program, which helps everybody or anybody who needs to sign up for All Kids health insurance through the state. We have our therapeutic day schools, and we also have an autism initiative at our high school. Dr. Gross, would you like to discuss the autism initiative?
Our autism program is new. It's in its 2nd year, and it is based on a model called structured teaching. We have a student in that program who is a fabulous success. We're excited about him. He has his driver's license. He has a job. He is highly valued on the job, and he plans to have a career after he graduates in the job, which is a perfect example of our transitioning in our vocational program. He's very successful. Has even made political connections for us in the community. So our program for kids with autism is highly individualized, tailored to their needs, very intensive, and very successful.
That's wonderful. We've already discussed a little bit about how the high school supports transition into post-graduation. Is there anything you would like to add about that?
I think just a tiny bit. Each of our students upon graduating has a jump drive that we have helped them prepare that contains their resume, sample applications. They've all been online finding job possibilities and completed job applications. So we've done a great deal to get them ready to enter the work world by the time they leave us in the transitioning and vocational programs.
Can you tell us a little bit more about what some of your students go on to do or have gone on to do? In terms of academic or work careers?
Yeah, they've gone on to nursing assistant programs. One of our students stopped by the other day. We always have a person at the front door to greet guests, and that day it was me. And a student who graduated, maybe 3 or 4 years ago, stopped by to say hi. He had just finished an automotive technology program. He had begun a diesel mechanics program. He looked absolutely wonderful. He was the epitome of success. We have a student working full-time in a food marketing program. every sign that he's competitively employed and in for the long haul. So those are a couple of examples.
That's wonderful. That's really wonderful. Can you tell us something about how Beacon's philosophy of care is integrated into the school?
It's an interesting philosophy, and it's not really from the educational arena, but we have incorporated it well. It's based on a philosophy that you need to develop plans in concert with the participant with full, careful respect for what they want to do with their lives, what they want their lives to be, as opposed to perhaps a group of us would meet and we would decide, well, this child needs to go to college because he has this really high IQ, and then we start this campaign of pushing them to college when that's not their plan at all. With this philosophy of care, we will work with the student to make a plan that's in concert with their needs for themselves and put together a plan that they want to make work, as opposed to saying you have to become this when that's not really what they want to become at all.
Okay. And let me show you a picture of something that I think both illustrates that
Yes.
concept that you've been talking about in terms of the
Yeah.
philosophy of care and letting students drive their program and
Yeah.
drive the work and choose what they're interested in. Can you tell us a little bit about what's going on in this picture?
Well, first of all, I'm going to take ownership of the picture. And then second of all, this is a student that had serious self-management problems and discovered art as a way to manage himself in terms of relationships with much improvement, is now in a college program, is employed in an art business, an art place, and is doing very, very well, working with his goals for himself. He put this plan together with our cooperation and support.
Thank you very much.
You're welcome.
What do you think differentiates your school from other therapeutic high schools?
We're very artsy. We like art as a way of expressing yourself. It's appropriate. You can be very angry on a as you just saw, in an art piece, and it's socially acceptable. You could be successful as an artist. We have lots of fun incentives. We believe in having fun, and we have fun all the time. We have weekly socials. We have Red, White, and Blue Week. We have visits to restaurants. We have a program for our veterans. We go to Hollywood Park. We drive go-karts. We believe in having fun. We have a fabulous partnership with the Calumet Police Department. The Calumet Park Police work for us part-time. They know our students. They know our program. They know our philosophy. They are partners in preventive collaboration. They will come and help us whenever there's something going on that we feel might be a safety risk. They are our partners in acting proactively and collaboratively to protect our students and our staff. We have the wonderful original curriculum. We have an amazingly qualified and talented staff. We have a clearly established model. Everybody knows it. Everybody's playing in the same band. We have a great gymnasium. All the other schools are jealous and they like to come to our school to play.
Okay. Is there anything else you would like to add to that as we wrap up?
I would like to add what I think is the most unique thing about Beacon, and that is its unrelenting optimism about our task. As an agency, there's no question that everybody who works there absolutely believes, without question, that we can reach that mission of changing lives, and is constantly, unrelentingly dedicated to doing so.
Well, thank you very much, and thank you very much for joining me today, Dr. Gross.
You're welcome.
Again, my name is Alice Merrifield, and this is Dr. Joan Gross, principal of the high school at Beacon Therapeutic. Before we leave, I'd like to show you one other. This is some information about our 18th annual holiday supper. It will be on Friday, December 3rd, 2010. If you're interested in attending, you can contact Peggy Rourke at 773-298-1243. So thank you again for joining us today, and I hope you'll join us again next week. Thank you very much.